All right, 2 to go. So income. This is probably my favorite one to talk about, and I really like to hear my own voice when I talk about this one too. So here is the deal. The I stands for income, which is simple enough. It's how much people make, what their wages are. And we have been talking about real and nominal wages, so it kind of is segues nicely. So when people make more or less money, think about a time when people generally, across the board, tended to make less money. Maybe the Great Depression, okay? So the Great Depression may be a time where we saw wages fall. The Roaring 20s, on the other hand, maybe we see wages rise, or the 1990s are considered a boom period as well. But the thing is, it's not so simple as, well, income went up, so demand went up, people bought more stuff. Because that's the inclination that people have, is, if I have more money, I just buy more stuff. Well, kinda. But what stuff do you buy when you are rich? Let's see. Mr. Sutton's going to imagine he's rich. I'm a rich man. What will I buy? I think I will buy the finest Cuban cigars and perhaps filet mignon. But I certainly will not buy I will certainly not buy tickets to ride on the bus or other public transportation. No, no, no. So it depends what I will buy when I'm rich or poor, and that means you got 2 different types of goods you got to think about. So let's see here. Let's deal with this side first. We're going to call these side the inferior goods. Anybody want to tell me what inferior means? You over there. Yeah. It means not as good. Not as good. Excellent. Not as good goods. Well, what is going to be one of the things that is not as good? Well, it might be something that's not as good. How about bus tickets? Oodles and noodles. Oodles. Oh, noodles. Sure. And maybe you can think of a few others. There are bunches. But imagine this. So let's say your income rises. So you are a richer person. What's going to happen to your demand for oodles and noodles and bus tickets? Well, if I'm rich, I'm not eating oodles and noodles. I'll tell you that much. I'm going to eat filet mignon every night. The finest, the filet mignon that I can find. So the demand for these types of things, it decreases or goes to the left. So remember, decreases to the left here, increases to the right. But when my income falls, I have to buy these things. Now, I will buy these things because I don't have the money to buy filet mignon or the finest food products or pay for a limo to take me to my destination or even a taxi cab. Okay? So when I am rich, I won't demand these things, but when I am poor, I most certainly will. Now again, kids always want to argue, well, if I were rich, I'd still eat oodles and noodles. Well, that's perfectly fine. It's not saying that every rich person doesn't eat oodles and noodles. It just says across the board in general, we will see a pattern of people moving away from oodles and noodles the richer they are. Okay? Now, on the other hand, we have what are called normal goods. We had NAS. Normal goods, in fact, behave kind of how we would normally think about this, in the sense that, if I'm rich, I'll buy lots of stuff. If I'm poor, I won't buy as much. So normal goods, let's say, maybe, I want to think of a good one. I don't have any great ones. Let's go with a Cadillac. No. Let's go with a Ferrari. A Ferrari. Okay. Or I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to assume it's true. Organic vegetables. Notice, these types of things tend to be luxury goods. So when I am rich, let's say my income rises, I will demand more or less of these things. More! So I'm going to put a right or left arrow here. Right! And the opposite is true too. If I'm really poor, I see my wage go down, I'm certainly not buying any Ferraris, and I'm probably not going to buy a lot of organic vegetables. So I'm going to see the demand go the opposite way. And on the test, a lot of times they will tell you, hey, such and such is an inferior good or such and such is a normal good, to kind of make sure that you think about it appropriately. And later on, we'll be able to calculate mathematically whether a good is normal or inferior. But that is for another day. This is the longest one. I told you. I like these two things. All right. Best of luck. Let me know if you have any